Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mag Bass, and today I'll be checking out Home Free's latest release, The Northwest Passage, featuring, I'm gonna butcher this name, Sean, it looks like Dagher, could be Dagher, Dar, I don't know, I'm assuming he's Irish. I have got no idea how to say that name, but it's featuring this person. I don't know who that is. I don't know whether this is his song. It could be, because I know Home Free have done that quite a few times in the past. Got the actual singer of the song, the original, to sing with them. But I've never heard of the Northwest Passage, so this will be my Northwest Passage baptism from Home Free. So let's just dive right in and see what they've got for us. This is Home Free featuring Sean Dagher and the Northwest Passage.
Westward from the Davis Strait, 'tis there 'twas said to lie, the sea route to the Orient, for which so many died, seeking gold and glory, leaving weathered, broken bones, and a long forgotten, lonely cairn of stones.
Very interesting. We don't usually get a Tim start with nothing happening in the background. I think we can hear like wind and things like that. I don't think there's anything vocally happening in the background. But so this is about the Yukon. Is this the gold, striking gold in Canada, I believe, around that time? I don't know. I'm not great on that sort of history, but I think that's what this is about. Could be wrong. You get a little verse here at the start as well, a poem of some kind, or a statement from somebody even. Each entered the finest at a place that he himself had chosen, where it was darkest and there was no path. By Joseph Campbell said that. Interesting. I'm assuming Joseph Campbell is also referencing this Yukon territory, whatever it is, Gold Strike, Northwest Passage thing. But anyway, back to the reaction of the actual song. So Tim, he's putting on a very, not theatrical, but that sort of sounding voice. So obviously he's deep in his higher bass range. You know, you can tell he's got lower, he can go lower in chest than this, but he's deep in that sort of low bass range down here. But he's singing very like theatrical is probably the only word I can think of, but it's sort of like Santa Claus type voice, that sort of ho ho ho, you know, really like getting a lot of air into the chest notes there.
Westward from
the, you know what I mean?
the Davis Strait, 'tis there 'twas said to lie, the sea route to the Orient, for which so many died.
He lowered slightly there. For which so many died. And you almost expect the died to go even lower, but it didn't.
Seeking gold and glory, leaving weathered, broken bones, and a long forgotten, lonely cairn of stone.
And then at the end, I forgot lonely cairn of stone. And he just kept getting lower and lower until that last note hits. Very nice.
For just one time I would would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
3 centuries thereafter, I take passage overland in the footsteps of brave Kelsey, where his sea of flowers began. Watching cities rise before me, then behind me sink again. This tardiest explorer, driving hard across the plain.
For just one time.
Okay, so we seem to be keeping that sort of same theme up. I thought that was just what they usually do at the start very basic with. So they started with Tim just singing and nothing in the background, and then they brought in the harmonies for the chorus, which is that Northwest Passage, whatever. So they all sang that bit, and you heard a lot more of the featured artist here, Sean, and he does have a very sort of Irishy sounding voice. He reminds me of like a Cole McGuinness. If you don't know who that is, check him out. He's great, but they've got that thick accent that you can hear when they're singing, and it fits great for a song like this. But then in the next verse after the chorus, they didn't then add things in like odd harmonies or maybe some beatboxing and things like that. They kept it exactly the same as the first one. So still nothing happening in the background at all. And just this time, just Rob singing the lead. And then Rob at the end, he goes down sort of like a, for him, low baritone range.
Again, this tardiest explorer, driving hard across the plain.
See, that's a fairly low note for Rob there. Driving hard across the plain. Anything that's got that sort of resonant sound that he wanted there at the end. Very nice.
For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
And through the night behind the wheel, the mileage clicking west, I think upon Mackenzie, David Thompson and the rest, who cracked the mountain ramparts and did show a path for me to race the roaring Fraser to the sea.
Okay, so that was different. They have added a little bit of an element here in the fact that they've got a bass line happening. Not really a bass line, but it's just a bass note sustained in the background while Chance is singing this bit. Obviously that's going to be Tim, I'd imagine. But what's weird about that is that he can't possibly be sustaining that for the whole length of time. There was a moment halfway through where I didn't hear an obvious stop, breath, and then back again, but it did shift slightly. That made me think that's probably where he would have taken a breath. Maybe they've in post-production sort of like tried to mash it more into it to make it be a long sustained note all throughout. But yeah, it's very interesting.
It's clicking west, I think upon Mackenzie, David Thompson and the rest who cracked the mountain.
There, that bit. It's going. I think it even goes a slight bit higher when it comes back. So it sort of. There's that little bit of a shift where I'm assuming he didn't just like keep going like because he's already been holding that for like a long time, 20 seconds maybe more, and then just goes. And I doubt he's just going to shift and then keep holding that one, because the whole note would go on for like, I don't know how long, 40 seconds, something like that. I mean, he might have the lung capacity to do something like that, but I'm assuming he didn't for this, and it's either been layered or something like that. I don't know how they've done it, but basically I don't think Tim is in the background just holding that note for as long as he is holding it here.
Ramparts, and it show a path for me to race the roaring Fraser to the sea.
For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. How then am I?
Interesting. So usually when you get something like that, that's kind of note happening there at the end. It's the end of the song, and I genuinely thought it was for a second. I went off onto it then for 3 minutes something. I thought there can't be 2 minutes left at the end here of nothingness. So I thought, is that the end? Because the way they did that note there at the end where they all came in and Tim goes super low, that's like usually that's that and everyone's on and it usually just fades out like that and that's the end, but it wasn't the end. Especially holding it for as long as they did. I thought, and then the camera panning out, it's like, oh, this is the end of the song, and yet no, it's not, because we're going to carry on here, and I think Sean is going to have a solo bit now.
How then am I so different from the first men through this way? Like them I left a saddened life, I threw it all away, to seek a Northwest Passage at the call of many men, to find there but the road back home again. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing.
Okay, that's a different take. So complete opposite to everything we've had. Like even the higher singers have been going lower at times throughout the whole of this, because it's that sort of song. Take the Northwest Passage to the sea, and they've been hitting these lower notes towards the end of their lines. But then the complete reverse of that is getting a high tenor like Adam Bastine. It is lovely sort of, I think it's falsetto, because it's very light. Take the Northwest Passage. It starts off very light like that. That's really high and light up there.
Reaching for the Beaufort Sea.
And then he comes back down. So he's like, for the Northwest Sea. And he just comes back to, it's still like higher than the others have been singing it, but this is more in his, more of a chest connection now, and we're hearing this is a comfortable range for him now.
We sing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. And make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
Okay. The video just ends there, saying 150 years earlier. Interesting. 150 years. What was it, 1840 something? That would still be like 1990. Is it 150 years earlier than 1840 something? What's the 150 years earlier? Not really understanding that, but yeah. Other than that, great. Obviously, the end there, you got that sort of note, but it wasn't as climactic as the first one. Even the first one is sort of the middle of this song, just over middle. You had that sort of note where it was like the climax note, and then this end note was less of a climax note, but in a way, but it was more. It was still the same thing. It was still a climax note, but it just, you didn't have the deep from Tim covering that harmony. He was more just rather than down there. And obviously the lead singer Sean of this was holding that note with them. So obviously he sang his line, whatever it was, passage to the sea, and then just held out C. I don't know whether it was that lyrics or not. Again, I've never heard this song until now, so I'm not up on the lyrics. I was sort of getting bits because it's quite repetitive, I think, with the chorus. But yeah, it's a very nice song. It's one of those that it's not quite a shanty. It is kind of like a very traditional Gaelic sort of anthem type song from what I'm getting here. But then it sounds that way because it seems to be about the Yukon, which wasn't Ireland, that was Canada. So yeah, very confused by the story of this, but I'll have to figure out what the Northwest Passage is. If you know anything about this, let me know in the comments. I know you're good at doing that. You always inform me of these things that I don't understand. But in terms of the song itself, it sounded great. They did a great job. There wasn't anything crazy happening in it. It was just harmonies. Nice to give Adam Rupp a break from this, because his beatboxing extraordinaire didn't come out in this one, so maybe next time. But yeah, it was just one of those anthem type songs that's just belting out beautiful harmonies, and Home Free do it incredibly well. Sean was a good singer too in this. He's got a good voice. So yeah, very nice job. Great song. Feel free to give Home Free a like and subscribe. They're amazing at what they do. I'll link the original video in the description. Feel free to give me a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.